everyone, it's Gary Cassidy here from Sportskeeda Wrestling, and today is a genuine pleasure for me because I'm getting to interview someone who everyone else will probably know her from her NXT days and, you know, a little bit here and there in WWE, but I actually first get introduced to the person I'm about to talk to through the Taz show, where she was a special correspondent for independent wrestling, which was great. That's how I got introduced to her. It was a long time ago now, and I've just been watching her ever since. It's the Virtuosa herself. It's Deonna Purrazzo. How's it going today?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, apart from being indoors, but we can't really help that, sadly. But yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, a few things we need to get out of the way first before we get into some of the more fun stuff. It would be remiss of me not to ask these questions, sadly. But I say sadly, you were released from WWE this week. I never like putting sadly in there because, you know, for some people it's not a sad thing. For you, how did it come about? Did it come out straight out of the blue? Is it a sad thing for you, or is it an opportunity, or how do you feel about it?
I wouldn't say it was a sad thing because I kind of knew in my heart that I would get a call last week. And it's not something I think that I didn't expect because I was unhappy for the last 6 or so months with what I was doing in NXT. And I let office people know that. We had conversations where I said, if nothing's going to happen for me, I'd just rather be let go. Yeah. So I think overall I must have been afraid to just ask straight up to be released. But once they fired me, it was kind of like, okay, this is what I wanted. Like, I wasn't ever scared of that. So exciting times is more what I'm looking forward to than being sad.
Yeah, the only thing for me that I found strange about it, obviously it was like you were on TV a lot, but the one thing I found really strange was that, you know, everyone else got announced as being released, but yourself and a few of the other NXT talents, it kind of flew under the radar, and it was like you just got moved from one section to a website to another, which was a bit, I don't know, that was a bit disappointing for me. Was it the same for you, or was it just didn't matter?
I didn't know if they were going to release NXT people. And when I had gotten the call, they hadn't announced anyone from NXT yet, so I don't know if I was the first or if I was the last, but I just thought, screw it, I'm going to announce it on my own. I'm going to get one step ahead of them on this, and it's going to be on my terms. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they'll ever make a statement about it, but there was a bunch of people released, and I think in process of elimination, everyone has kind of seen who those people are, but yeah, it was just really weird to not announce it.
Yeah, that's what I found as well. The one thing though, the great thing that came from you taking it upon yourself to announce it was the huge outpouring of support that you got from wrestlers, from journalists, from fans. How was that for you? And also, is there any WWE superstar that reached out to you from that? Who was the first person that spoke to you?
Yeah, I think the first person probably from WWE that had reached out was Natty. And just from over the last year, and I was traveling a little bit with Raw, and since, you know, everything's been happening at the PC, like that's someone I've just kind of gained a relationship with over the last maybe 3 or 4 months, and it was really thoughtful of her to reach out. But like Bailey reached out, Naya reached out, like a bunch of people that I worked with and got to know on a somewhat personal level, which I thought they didn't have to do considering people they work with every day were fired. So I thought it was just really sweet. But like, it was crazy to see the amount of support and love and like interactions my tweet got. Like on that thing on Twitter where you could see like the hits, it had like 2 million hits, which is like, I got more popularity being fired by WWE than I did the entire 2 years I was there. You know, so it was, fans have just like bought so much merch, and my pro wrestling tees blew up. Like, it was really nice to know I wasn't forgot about. And I think that is the biggest takeaway for me is like, okay, I did have an impact, whether it be WWE or from what I did on the Indies and Ring of Honor, things like that. Just, it reminded me of who I am and what I can do.
Yeah, and that's, I'm going to go into that a little bit later on. Don't worry, that's definitely going to get mentioned. But the one thing I need to ask, again, this is just a clarification. So from speaking to a lot of the other people that were released, they've all said they've got a 90-day no-compete clause. I know that obviously we're in unprecedented times, things may not happen anytime soon. Are you under a 90-day compete clause, or is it 30 days, which has been reported, or is there a non-compete clause at all?
So we have the main roster got 90 days and NXT got 30. So I have a 30-day non-compete, 30 days I'll be paid for. So that gets me to the end of March, and then I'm free to do whatever I want.
Yeah, excellent. And that was the one thing that I'd heard that, but it's always nice to get it from someone who is directly in the situation so that it's not rumoured. I need to go off on a little tangent here. I did mention unprecedented circumstances. You've got 30 days of sitting around, I guess, doing nothing. What are you doing at this time to keep yourself busy, keep yourself happy in terms of being stuck indoors? Have you got any tips for people that are also stuck indoors at these times?
Yeah, I'm lucky because one of the old strength coaches at the PC has his own gym. So he's not taking clients right now. He's given me and a few other people access to the gym whenever we want on our own. So it's empty. So luckily I've been able to work out, but I have a few bits of workout equipment. I've just done parking lot workouts and on my balcony workouts and, just trying to keep busy. I've done a lot of these interviews the last few days, so that's kind of taken my time up. Just trying to get myself in order for taking tentative bookings for when the world is healthy and we could do conventions and wrestling shows again. And getting merch out. I've just been busy with trying to sort my life out after WWE.
Yeah, definitely. And the one thing that I think is great that I don't like assuming things, but I'm going to assume that after WWE, you're going to be named Deonna Purrazzo, because that's what you were named before you were in WWE. Was that a difficult thing for you to get them to let you use your name while you were there? Because a lot of people had their names changed.
Yeah, it wasn't too difficult. I had only got asked once before the Mae Young when I was first hired, so back in 2018, to send a list of potential names. And I didn't until they were like, you didn't do this and you need to do it. And then I sent them a list of potential last names. And I said, my name is Deonna, and you'll never have another Deonna. So if I can't keep my last name, here's last names that I'd like. And I just never heard anything back, and it was never another conversation. So Deonna Purrazzo is my birth name, so I get to keep that forever.
Man, that's great news. That's the one thing I don't want to assume that, but I'm pretty certain she'll still be Deonna Purrazzo because she was before she was in WWE. But yeah, that's the thing that I think a lot of people in WWE were familiar with you before you were officially signed, because you'd done so much in terms of, you were most recently on Raw facing Nia Jax. You'd already faced her in NXT 6 years ago before you were signed. But my favourite thing that you ever done in WWE before you got signed, because I've loved everything else, was the La Luchadora stuff. Where we were on SmackDown. How was that, and how was it working with people like Mickie James and Becky Lynch?
Yeah, it was really funny, and I feel like the theme of my career is last minute I get these crazy opportunities and I'm not ready for them and they just happen. So I was in Puerto Rico and John Cohn had texted me, who is a referee, but also is in talent relations, and was like, hey, could you give me a call when you have a chance? I have a really cool opportunity. So I called him and it was like, if you're interested, we'll fly you to Raw on Monday. And I was like, it's Saturday and I'm not even in the country. Luckily I was home in time. I flew to Raw, and then it was just this is real. And at the same time, Carmella was doing a lot with James Ellsworth, so the possibility of hey, I could skip NXT as a whole if I really impress right now and just be on SmackDown in some capacity was real. That was the most exciting part, but overall, I got to work with Lexa in that capacity. So I've done a lot more than probably people realize.
Yeah, and that actually leads on perfectly to the next thing I was going to ask, where we've spoken about everyone you've worked with. Is there anyone that you didn't get to work with that you're now like, oh, that's quite annoying, I really wish I'd got to do something with them?
Yeah, Natty, of course, hands down, is my dream match that is like realistic. And then I worked with Bailey once in NXT, but I'd love to actually, as a part of the roster, get to do that and showcase myself a little bit more. And then same with Sasha Banks. Those are 3 people that I admire and I think are amazing wrestlers, and I would really love, you know, if one day that was possible to work with them.
Yeah, that was, I'd obviously love to see those matches, but there was one little annoyance for me as well, and it's the fact that we didn't get to see a lot of VXT. It was, you know, there was a lot of stuff on social media. There was even rumours floating about that you guys were going to get, you know, called up. I hate that term, but you're going to get called up to Raw. You'd both been on Raw. Was that ever going to be something that came to fruition, or was it just a complete missed opportunity?
Well, we were told in NXT that we would be debuting from Triple H, and he kind of asked us to brainstorm ideas for vignettes and for backstage things, and this was right when NXT was going live. So he was like, you might not get a chance to be on TV every week, but in the ring, but if we could do backstage stuff or things that are done at home, just come up with any and all ideas and shoot them to creative. And we did that. We did that twice, and we never heard anything back. And then it was that Chelsea was going to debut without me, and but I would come in when I was ready. And I probably like squashed that a little bit because I flipped out. And I was just kind of like, I've asked for 18 months now how I can be TV ready, and I'm finally getting an opportunity to be on TV and I'm not ready. Like, that's on you, that's not on me. I am ready. You're just choosing me not to be. And then we randomly got a call to go to Raw. And we've heard that it was potentially to do a tag match, but nothing was ever confirmed. So as far as being called up, we don't know. I think we just kind of took those opportunities, me with Asuka and her with Charlotte, and just killed them. And we impressed people at Raw, and we just kept being asked back. But obviously there's like this with NXT and Raw and people being called up, and you know, so we got brought back down to NXT and we're told it wasn't meant to be a call up. So there was just a lot of confusion, I think, on everyone's ends of what was happening with us, especially with myself and Chelsea. So but damn, like, I love VXT. She's my real life best friend, and if I was going to be in a tag team and just have fun with anyone, it's 100% her. And I'm sad we didn't get to do anything with it.
Yeah, definitely. I've got a few more wrestling related questions, but I want to throw in a fun one. Hopefully this is something you've not been asked before. I like to try and ask something different, so hopefully this is that. Everyone always asks, you know, fantasy booking, who's your dream opponent? You've already said Natalya is the realistic dream opponent. Rather than fantasy booking a match, I know you love tattoos, I love tattoos. I want you to fantasy book a tattoo for a wrestler. You can pick any wrestler and put any tattoo of your choosing on that wrestler. Who do you pick and what do you put on them?
Oh my God. Oh God. Okay, well, this kind of is like a real life thing. And I'm not going to answer your question at all because I have no idea, but I have a funny story about it.
I'll take that.
Tony Storm and I have matching tattoos.
Oh,
and,
okay.
Yeah, so we did Download Festival last June. And in the VIP section, there is, they have like a free tattoo booth.
Yeah. And
so basically we were like, oh, we'll get tattoos, we'll get what we want. But they couldn't draw things just for the like amount of people that wanted tattoos. So they had like a board with just like generic whatever tattoos, like old school, really thick, chunky tattoos. Yeah. So on both of our ankles, we have a drunk duck that is holding a beer.
Amazing.
So I guess, fantasy-wise, we booked ourselves with these terrible tattoos.
That is great for me because it means I share something in common with you. Mine's isn't a duck, but I got tattooed at Download Festival last year too. So I'm like, amazing, yeah. So I'm like, that's great. I can say that I've got something in common with both Deonna Purrazzo and Tony Storm. So back to the wrestling. When you signed with WWE, you'd previously been announced to be part of All In. Is there any regret there at all, or is there any bad blood in that? In terms of you not being there and then going to WWE?
Yeah, I think that I definitely regret it. Looking at how my WWE tenure turned out. And I think for anyone, like, WWE is their dream job. And at the time, All In was just All In. There was no AEW.
Yeah.
So we didn't know what was going to happen. And it was like, well, do I say no to my dream job and trying my dream job? Because I had tried for so long to get this job and didn't get it. So, but for me, it was like, well, they've said no for so long. So what if they never say yes again? And that's why I said yes. And I still went to All In. I was still there. I watched in the hotel room, but you know, I still went to the after party and tried to support the entire show. And my best friends were on the show, and it was amazing. And I really felt disappointed that I couldn't be a part of it. Looking back now, I regret not being a part of it, because I thought, like, this is my time. I've proved I'm going to be a superstar to WWE. They are going to do something with me. And then they did nothing for 2 years. So it's like, well, I should have waited, realistically, but what are you going to do, you know?
Yeah, hindsight's a wonderful thing, I guess. That's the one thing that you can't really control. I've got one last question for you. I've got a feeling this is going to be the, you know, we already said the fantasy question's the one that everyone gets asked. This is no doubt the question that you're going to be asked by everyone, but I need to ask it anyway. You've wrestled everywhere, of course. You've been to Ring of Honor. You said there you were at All In, but backstage. You've been in WWE. You've been everywhere. Where's next? Where do you want to go, ideally?
I guess ideally, like, I haven't been to AEW yet. Yeah. So my best friend, Britt Baker's my best friend. She works there. Like, they have a kick-ass women's division now. It's a lot of people I've never worked with. And it's a brand new product. So I would love to experience that and be a part of it. That being said, if that's not an option, you know, Impact has an amazing women's division right now. Tessa Blanchard's done some really cool things. Kylie Ray just signed there. Kiera's there. There's a really good group of girls, Taya, that are doing awesome stuff that I would love to also be a part of. But I don't know. I'd love to go back to Japan. I'd love to go to Australia again. Like, if I could wrestle in England again, I'd love that. It's like, I would just love a shot at saying, screw you, WWE. Really.
Excellent. And that's, I've already said that I've been following you since before WWE, so I know that no doubt where you land, you're definitely going to be a star and make the most of that opportunity. Much. No, thank you. Thank you so much for talking to me. It's been an absolute pleasure for me, obviously. And, you know, while we're stuck indoors, what better for me to do than talk to Deonna Purrazzo? So thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Excellent. Thank you. Have a great day.
You too. Thank you so much.
Cheers. Thank you.